All right, welcome back, Kings and Queens. Y'all, today we are talking Heart and Hustle Houston, Season 1, Episode 3. Listen, it was a good episode. I see where they're headed. They are headed, baby. We're about to get into it. And it's kind of like it's beefing up for next week's drama. And it's funny because when LaTorria brought that girl to the group at the rodeo, I was like, that scene just didn't make any sense. It came out of nowhere. It doesn't seem like a good fit. You said you didn't know her name, but here she comes, episode 4. Sounds like for some bullshit, but we're gonna talk about it. LaTorria, what's really going on? Okay. But this is what we're gonna do. A good portion of my recap and review today, I'm gonna be really focused on LaTorria and Muneera. And I'm gonna touch a little bit on the other ladies, but baby, let's get into it. For those of you who are just tuned in or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
All right, so I really enjoyed this episode, but let me ask y'all, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like, okay, we're on our way, we're going somewhere with this show? Are you still into it? What are your thoughts? Do you think it was a good episode? Because while I was watching, okay, the first thing, there's 2 words I wrote down at the beginning of the episode. I wrote down divide and I wrote down shift because I feel like there's a divide being created and I feel like a shift is about to happen. Now, keep in mind, I wrote this down at the beginning way before we got to see the end of episode 3, which is going to lead into episode 4. So the shit is on the way, okay? Chloe and RHOA. Chloe and RHOA, they talked. They had a scene at Chloe's home. No, was that Chloe? Let me back up. Chloe and RHOA actually had a FaceTime call. And Chloe said that she feels real good with RHOA. You know, she feels like RHOA is down to earth. They have a really good connection. She can be herself with RHOA. RHOA is genuine. She's authentic. There's nothing to hide. She's not putting on. And as soon as Chloe says she's not putting on, she ain't trying to, I thought, okay, who you talking about, Chloe? Who's putting on? Who's in character for the cameras? That's the first thing I thought. And then I was like, girl, don't read too much into it. She's just talking, right? But there are some put-ons. There are some people posing for the camera. But anywho, we'll get to that part a little bit later. So she spoke about Chloe and RHOA discussed Elena coming for Chloe when Elena said that Josh, meaning her husband, would never be caught with a woman like Chloe. And now here's the thing, Chloe. You opened that door. When you spoke on her husband, even though I don't feel like you were trying to go low blow and cut the girl off at her knees, you still opened that door. And once you go there with somebody, they're going to respond. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get what you're looking for. You got a response. You can't control the response. You didn't like the response. But also, I don't think it's that serious between Chloe and Elena. I think it was, Chloe said what she had to say. Elena said what she had to say. I don't think the girls are trying to take it there. So I don't want to put too much on it. But RHOA did say, listen, speak on it, be done about it. And Chloe did in a really cutesy way, real cute, real calm, real demure at the pool party. And I like the fact that they let it go and they left it where it was. It was cute, okay? Leave it where it is. I hope they don't try to spin the block on that. But I want to talk about the scene. This like is the perfect segue into the scene regarding the spa, the Escape Spa that's in Cypress, Texas, actually right down the street from me, not too far. So I'm gonna have to go there, Labrina, and just try it out, especially since I saw that you offer wine and champagne. Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. So listen, Labrina closed down the spa for the day for the girls to come and try, the services and just kind of treat them well, give them like a self-care day. Um, but she did not invite Chloe and Elena. I don't know how to feel about that because that's where I kind of feel like the divide is being introduced into the group. And that's why I wrote down divide and a shift because I think you should have invited all of the girls. What do y'all think? Based on some of the beefs that we see in reality television, do you feel like Chloe and Elena, whatever they have going on, is so big that they should not have been invited to the spa? And I know Elena and Chloe had a moment, Labrina, but it wasn't big enough for you not to invite them. I think they would have behaved. I think they would have been on their best behavior. And, that may cause them to feel some kind of way. We didn't see it on camera, their reaction. I don't know if the producers asked him. We got a little bit from Chloe, but I don't think it was big enough for them to not get an invite. But okay, I just wanted to ask y'all about that. Unless the producers are trying to hype up this small tiff and they're going to make more of it than what it really is. I don't know. I'm trying to see where they're going with this. Um, so they get to the spa, very beautiful spa, nice presentation, clean. Come on, Black excellence. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Really nice. I'm impressed. I love it so far from what I can see on camera. Labrina seems to be about her business. She seems to have everything organized. She seems to be very professional. So I definitely think it's worth a visit. So the girls put on their robes and everything, and they're all, no, they didn't. Let me back up. They're sitting in the lobby waiting. Muneera. Muneera. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I have a question. And I'm coming out the blocks hot on Muneera. Does your arm hurt? Because that's a reach. What you're doing this episode is a reach. So I need to know if your arm is hurting. Okay. You said cute. She said cutesy. She's not coming for your age. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me rewind because I need to see this thing from both sides. Okay. I think you're hypersensitive, or there's a possibility that you are being overly sensitive to that one. You read too much on it. You were putting 20 on 10 as a cutesy cute. She's not calling you a child. What did I miss, y'all? And then you said, it's not cutesy. It's cute. I'm not 5. She responded, you look 11. And then you were like, I'm not 11. But you keep putting out your age. You keep like, she's not doing that. That's your subconscious seeping through. You put it out there. And I don't like where you're trying to go with this. It's a reach. Please don't make this your storyline, but it's starting to look like that's what's going to happen in the next episode. I don't like it, Muneera. I think I think you're creating drama, and I'm not sure why. I think I know, but I'm not. Okay, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it because I feel like you're reaching. I don't know, y'all. What are your thoughts? So let's shift to LaTorria for a second. So LaTorria and Labrina, Labrina splits the ladies up, and she takes LaTorria with her, and she kind of, is touching bases with her about her dating life. So, honey, LaTorria says she wants them saved and sanctified. She wants a praying man, a man of the cloth. Well, let me tell you something, LaTorria. Girl, they can be hoes too. They can be hoes too. And I know you said you want to be covered. They're going to cover you all right. Because the ones in the church can be the freakiest and the nastiest ones. So don't get it twisted and think that just because he's from the church house, that he's a good man, Savannah. Not necessarily so, because sometimes those are the undercover freaks. Those are the ones that got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 sister so-and-so's in the house, okay? In the court, I mean, in the church house. That's all I'm trying to say. Those are the ones, they have sneaky links with multiple hands and a possible 2, baby. But I'm glad she called the man back because I see where you're going, Labrina. Okay, so she called the man back because I was about to say, LaTorria, don't let the church house cause you to sit on some of your best years. Don't be on the sideline. Today, that day is as young as you're going to be. Get out there and date. Okay, don't be waiting for no man in the church house. Now, you don't have to be out there like that, but you do need a little fun, LaTorria. Loosen up a little bit. We want to see you smile more. We want to see you loosen up on camera. Don't take yourself too serious with all these strict rules. I'm not saying, now, I'm not trying to get in your sex life. I'm definitely not advocating for you to be open, or anything like that. But get out, go outside, hang out a little bit. Okay. So she ended up calling the man. Thank you, Labrina. And that's what I'm talking about. Help your friend get her groove back. You know what I'm saying? You recognize that she's sitting on the sidelines when she don't have to be. So you like, call him right now. I love it. I love it. And the man said, yeah. So LaTorria, we want to know how the date went. Okay. How did it go? Did y'all go out? Was it fun? Did he follow up? We want to know. That was my thought initially when LaTorria had this conversation with Labrina. However, y'all, When she got to Chloe's house and she started to tell the story to Chloe, I was like, I don't know. Now that I think about it, 2 weeks is too long. 2 weeks is too long, and he didn't even try to push the date up a little bit. And I don't like the fact that he didn't run a full court press behind you. I don't like the fact that he's sitting idle waiting for 2 weeks to pass. Mm-mm. The more I started thinking about it, I was like, he didn't even hunt. Nah, leave him be, LaTorria. If you plan on going out with him, and if you haven't already, leave him be, because now that you put it out there like that, he didn't jump on it like he's supposed to. Okay? Otherwise, you're gonna have to do all the work in the relationship. And nah, I don't want that for you. Which is why I say, child, don't be too focused. Don't be too focused on a particular type of man, especially the ones in the church house. Because half of them don't want a church woman. You better ask somebody. Am I lying? Half of the men in the church house don't want a church woman. Listen, they say you're boring. Not you in particular. Okay, go back and listen to some of my interviews with these men. They say they're boring. So they go outside the church house looking for girls that are outside. So you may have to go outside just to catch a church man. Okay. LaTorria is celibate. She shared that she's been celibate for like 3+ years now. I think it's cool. I don't think it's anything wrong with that. Hell, lots of women practice celibacy for a number of reasons. Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat understands? Just her just sitting out and chilling, especially now that the STD rates are high in Houston. Girl, I do not blame you. Protect yourself. So I want to shift really quick. I want to talk about RHOA and LaTorria because they had a discussion about sex. Give me 1 second. So I really don't understand the conflict of talking about sex versus not talking about sex. I think there's some things I'm not paying attention. Let me keep it real. Let me keep it real. I'm not paying attention to what they're saying. I'm actually trying to decipher what they're not saying. So it seems like some of y'all are being fake on camera because there should not be a tiff or a rift between two grown women about talking about sex and making me feel uncomfortable unless somebody's putting on for the freaking camera. So RHOA and LaTorria, they had a small discussion about sex. RHOA seems to be open about just being an open book for the camera, whereas LaTorria is more reserved because she's a church girl, or at least that's the story she's telling on camera. I don't know. So we got two women that are having this conversation, and they're both cut from two different cloths. And that's okay, unless one of you is subconsciously trying to make the other one feel bad for not jumping on your bandwagon. So, is there a little judgment in the air? I don't know, but I think we're going to get to the bottom of it. And LaTorria, can you be sneaky? I'm not sure. And actually, I have a question for you, LaTorria. Did you used to be a publicist for Evelyn Lozada? Is that you, or is that a different girl here in Houston? Was that you? I wonder. I'm not sure, but you look so familiar. And I was like, I wonder if that's the one that used to be a publicist for Evelyn and y'all had like a bad fallout. I don't know. Is that you? The other thing is, I do think you got a little sneaky in your blood because we're going to see this girl named Shaniqua or whatever her name is that you bumped into at the rodeo that you don't know, according to what you said on camera. And now all of a sudden she pops back up in the group to out somebody. It's giving sneaky. It's giving fake. Let it all out. Who are you really? Now, let me stay. I'm just saying, y'all, I'm picking up a lot, okay? So you got two different women cut from two different cloths, and it's okay. I do want to say this, LaTorria, when you showed up at Chloe's home, you look really pretty in yellow. I think that's your color. Wear it more. You look really pretty in yellow. And I'm with Chloe. Chloe said something when LaTorria was telling her story about her and Rose conversation about talking about sex. If you listen to Chloe, Chloe said, I've never been around a group of women that are so sensitive. People are too sensitive in this group. I agree. Because it's starting to come through over small things, y'all. If you pay attention and if you really watch reality television, there was a couple of times I was like, for real? We're about to make this a big deal? That's what we're about to do, ladies? So I don't know if they're being sensitive or if they're being fake. Listen, we're only in episode 3. Until I can come up with a better word, Chloe, I'm going to ride with you on the sensitivity thing. Okay. I'm for real. So, anywho, what we don't want to happen is I would hate to see beef created from nothing. like Muneera is doing, reaching for the stars. Speaking of Muneera, I'm gonna give you an example when I say beef created from nowhere. Muneera, she's feeling some kind of way over the words cutesy and apple juice. I was like, are you kidding me? The girl can't say apple juice? Really? Muneera? Boss lady, electrical engineer? She can't, even if she's joking. I don't think she was trying to put you down, but let's just say she's joking. She can't say apple juice now without you ripping her head off? Is that where we are? Come on, ladies. But there's also a different way to look at this, right? From a different perspective, because it also tells me that this is a healthy group of women to a certain extent, because they don't really have no real beef. You get what I'm saying? So it's okay. So I'm like, okay, so now the producers are probably pushing and egging them to have some type of something. And there you go. Apple juice. Let's go with apple juice. Listen, now LaTorria mentioned leaving the friend group. Why? Why? Maybe I should leave the friend group. For what? You want to be, and then Chloe reassures her of her place in the group. Why would you leave so quick, so soon? We're only in episode 3. Why would that even come across your mind? There's way more. So now I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on here. And hopefully we'll get to see it as the season continues to play out. I did pick up from LaTorria sharing with Chloe that she's sensitive, super sensitive regarding her size and her skin tone. So, according to what she shared, she was labeled a bully as a child. She said because she was, bigger than some of the other girls and carried a little bit more weight and happen to be of a darker complexion. She was often no, she was often labeled a bully, irregardless of how soft her tone was, or if she was joking, she was just considered the bully. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. LaTorria, I do feel like, okay, LaTorria shared that she's since healed from that. I don't know, LaTorria. I think you still wear it on your face. And what I'm talking about is your sensitivities. I feel like it's coming through the camera. You remember when I reviewed the first episode, I said it seems to be something about LaTorria that I can't put my finger on and I'm not sure what it is. I think I think you're wearing I think your insecurities are showing up. And I don't mean that as a negative. I think what you feel like you've probably healed from it, but it comes out in different ways. Okay? And I'm not talking about her engagement and her interaction with Muneera, because I still feel like, damn, Muneera, chill, be cool. Don't be all uncool. And I think you're reading too much into your dynamics with LaTorria, Muneera. Damn, she can't say apple juice without you getting all wound up. What's really going on? And I feel like it's a blessing and a curse to be a boss as a woman, because on one hand, the work ethic is admirable, but on the other hand, you're too wound up. You too much about business. You coming in like Jim Adler, trying to demand your respect. Let it go. It ain't that serious, because you don't want to be regulating like that in a friend group. You don't want to take the lightheartedness out of it. And I understand what you say. And according to Muneera, she's been the butt of the joke ever since she was little, and she's always had to fight to prove her worth regarding her stature. But that is not what's happening here. I think you're projecting. I do. Now, that don't mean I'm right. I think you're over correcting to make sure that it doesn't happen. And it's kind of coming off as bitchy. Like, chill. You got to be able to know when somebody's really trying to come after you. Okay. You can't regulate like that. And I don't think LaTorria was actually coming for you. I really don't. But child, let me ask the chat. Do you feel like LaTorria intentionally wanted to offend Muneera, and that's why she said apple juice and cutesy? Do you feel like she walked in there with an agenda to offend her, or do you feel that there's a possibility Muneera could be hypersensitive and she's just overcorrecting? I'm gonna tell you what I think. Maybe you just don't like LaTorria. That's what I think. I think for whatever reason, you don't like her, and that's okay. Because not everybody's going to like everybody in that group. I'm sifting through the bullshit, okay? You don't like her, and if that's the case, just say that. Because I doubt every single time she sees you, she speaks to you like a child or refer to you as if you're a child. You said every single time you see me, you say apple juice. I doubt it. That's a very polarized statement. That means she's operating in extremes and you've never had a moment with her where she did not refer. I don't believe that. I think you're projecting. I think you're exaggerating. I'm not going to say you're lying because you're not. She did say something twice, but I don't think it's been every single time. I think you're replaying it over and over and over. And the more you replay it, it may feel like that's your interaction with her. But you reaching because you don't like the girl. But for whatever reason, you don't want to stand on the fact that you don't like her because that wouldn't be nice now, would it? So you're hypersensitive to whatever she says. And when you don't like somebody, y'all, and you feel like you have to play nice because you come across as a nice girl on social media, or you come across as a nice girl on television, or that's the reputation and the persona that you've built around yourself, you end up making up reasons not to like folks and you become very persnickety. So you're picking her apart because you don't like her. There, I said it. I said it. I want to shift to Ro. So Ro goes to therapy. Kudos to you, Ro. And listen, girl, you and the therapist look alike. Y'all look like you can be sisters, cousins. Y'all favor each other so much. I was like, I had to rewind that part. I was like, damn, they favor each other. Very beautiful women. Could be sisters, right? And she's in therapy. And these are the two words that I wrote down for Ro. I wrote down blocked and I also wrote down disconnected. Okay. And according to what Ro is sharing with the therapist, she's suppressing her reality. Ro has been and is walking through life suppressing, pushing down, y'all, her reality. She's conforming to the people around her. And I'm going to just say this because we keep it real over here. Ro, you're around a bunch of takers. You're around a bunch of takers. What do they call those things? And when I say taker, it's not necessarily somebody that's using you. That's not what I mean. But nobody sees you. You're around people that don't see you, that don't value you like they can and like they should, especially the men that you work with, the men that you do projects for, the men that you're in business with. Change your table, change your tribe. The men that you're in business with, the men you've dated, that type of men, those athletes, those entertainers, those doughboys, they don't typically hold women in high regard, even if they have a business relationship with you. They don't hold women in high regard. Most of those men, not all, see you as something to sleep with, to flaunt around in the front seat of his car, his whip. He may give you a few racks, a few bands. You gonna get all that, right? You gonna get the brunches with your girls. You gonna get the gifts. But other than that, there's nothing. They'll sleep with you. They'll take you out. But that's about as far as it goes, okay? They're blocked, if you think about it. They're blocked. And Ro, they've eaten away at your femininity, which is why you're blocked. And you say, I really don't feel. I really don't feel a lot. Because you're not allowed to feel when you run with niggas like that and you do business with niggas like that. So we got to be careful as women when we're bossing up, because the number one thing that happens to women in boss positions is they lose their femininity or they sacrifice it to sit at the head of the table. And I feel like that could be some of the problem. That's some of the complexities, as you're trying to have this relationship with yourself where you say you're so strong. Nah, but if you really think about what I just said, those men after they give you purses and do whatever and sleep with you and they've taken everything from you. And I'm not talking about tangible items where you actually become a crutch for them. Not a crutch. Well, yeah, you're a crutch. You're an emotional crutch for them. They cipher everything, but they have nothing to offer in return. because the bags didn't make it better, the trips didn't make it better, the condo, the house, the parties, the dinner. It doesn't make it better because you're slowly losing yourself, right? Y'all, tell me if I'm lying, because if you really look at it for real, what have these men actually given you that you couldn't give or provide to yourself? What have they given you? You know how to hustle, you know how to work. And that's how you pick your man. You pick your man like you pick your fruit very carefully, okay? Having a man is supposed to be life changing, not laborious and heavy, not depleting, not leaving you empty. Having a man is supposed to be life changing, baby. So that's how you pick your man. You want somebody that's going to come in and change your life, flip your world upside down, honey, where people don't even recognize you in the spirit. That's all I'm saying, Ro. But get away. Get away from those that are takers and have nothing to offer you in return. And I appreciate her honesty. I really do. But you got to get away from those that don't allow you to be soft. Stay away from niggas that keep you hard. Ro has some conflicts with the group, and I think it's going to come out. Primarily with, okay, Ro, I don't think you like LaTorria. I'm going to say that. I don't think you like LaTorria at all. Now, I did see a post on social media on Instagram where LaTorria said, Ro and I have come a long way. We're in a good place now. But I don't know. That's what I was picking up on. So I'm just keeping it real. Okay. Let's see. Ro feels like there are some of the ladies that are playing it up for the cameras, and she may feel like she's being ostracized amongst the group because some of them are being so freaking fake. Now, let me name them based on what jumps out on the screen. Muneera, Elena, and LaTorria, if I had to guess. I'm gonna leave that there, okay? Now, baby, they had a pool party. They had a pool party. Ro and LaTorria were the two single ladies there. Baby, Chloe came in and brought life to the party because it was given dry. And that's nothing. I mean, that's fine. It's couples. They're just sitting around eating, but it really wasn't giving anything. Chloe is the life of the party, but rightfully so. Atta girl, Chloe. I love how you came in because they were struggling before you got there, if the truth be told. But that's what Chloe does, though, y'all. That's what she do. Okay? She's an event planner. So she came in and lightened the mood. It was refreshing to see her come in last. Now, Chloe, we're going to have to talk about your boyfriend in a minute. We are. Labrina, she ain't for the bullshit. And I like it. I like it. I get it. Now, don't be Captain Save a Ho, Labrina. I don't want you to jump in and windmill every time because sometimes we need to let them duke it out. But I do like the fact that she, in her confessional, said, hold on, what are we doing? We need to do better, ladies, because what she's saying is, let's not go for a woman who's struggling in her marriage. Let's not kick her while she's down. You know that lame shit that they do on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I like how she said, wait, let's do better. Y'all already know what time it is. She's in this very sensitive place in her marriage. She don't know what's coming, what's going. So we're not going to put her on the spot at a pool party about having a vow renewal. Hell, when she don't even know if they're going to make it to next week. I love it. I love that. I love that type of healthy energy. And that's what I said earlier. I don't think they have too many problems. This group is probably one of the healthiest groups of women, Black women, that we've seen on reality television, if the truth be told. So I like that angle. But at the same time, Labrina, she knew what she signed up for when she decided to open up her life to be on reality television. And Elena, it's not their job to cover for you, because you signed up to be on reality TV. So, baby, we want the dose of reality. We want to know what's going on between you and Josh. Because if there's a divorce, a separation, or whatever's coming down the pipe, and you don't want it out, it doesn't make sense to do a show like this. I mean, it does not make sense to have something that phenomenal going on in your life and then expect a level of privacy from the other ladies. No, ma'am. You're contradicting the term reality TV. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get that level of discretion and that level of privacy. So spill the damn beans, girl. What's really going on with Josh? Because you're in your confessional crying. You got teary eye. What the hell is going on with Josh? What'd he do? And it doesn't sound like he's willing to do the work for the marriage. Damn, he said maybe he'll recommit to you on the 20th wedding anniversary. That's far down the road. That's a long ass time. That's not giving. I want to come out of the guest bedroom. Y'all, am I crazy? There is no sense of urgency, it seems, that Josh has to make this right in his home with his wife. What the is going on? I'm nosy. He must have really dogged that girl out to have her on camera like that, getting teary eyed. Yeah, I needs to know. Then they get on marriage, right? So they shift. They get on marriage and they start talking about marriage. And they ask Chloe, "Listen, you with this young nigga? He's 17 years younger than you. Do you see yourself marrying him?" Chloe said, "I actually love being married. I love being a wife. I would get married tomorrow." And baby, that's when I hollered. I hollered like I had caught the Holy Ghost and I said, "No, hell to the no, 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 Chloe. Hell no. He too young. He's way too young." And you know what? I don't even want to make it about his age. Because if you plugged in and you swapped him out with a different 28-year-old, my commentary may be different. But as it relates to the 28-year-old that's seated on camera with you, hell no. Because my first question is, what would he bring to the table besides some D? What else could he offer in that house with you and your children? Make it make sense. And I don't like the fact that coming up on the next episode, I'm sorry, that's a fucking red flag to me that he's telling you you can't always provide for him. Hell no, Chloe. Date him. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but the fact that he can speak or feel like he can speak on what you do for yours, no. It's giving jealousy, it's giving covert, it's giving competition. Because when a man starts saying you can't always provide for your son and he's receiving from you, nah. Mm-mm. Has she ever done anything nice for you? Then keep that same energy. I don't like it. No. Okay, I'm all up in your business. I feel like you've worked too hard to have to carry that type of a load. He's too young. He doesn't from now you didn't talk about what he does for a living. That would be a fucking heavy load to carry. You would have two sons. Date him, have fun, but marry? Uh-uh. What does he do for a living? Because he looked like he smoked a lot of weed. And how does he make his money? He's gonna want his own children with you. And your son ain't gonna respect him because he ain't got no get up and go about himself from what we can see on the television. Good looking, that's fine. Cleaned up, that's fine. But what else? What else? How can he lead you? What level of success can he walk you into? How could he influence and change your life, your spirit? And I'm not talking about in the bedroom. What have you done for me lately? That's a no, a hard no, and another no. No, Chloe. No.